Welcome back to another episode of Art of Samuel. Hi, I'm Samuel. I am an artist, comic book creator, writer, and podcaster. I not only create my own comic books, but I also host my own show called Cast the Craze Podcast. And I have a co-host, his name is George Medina. And basically every week we interview guys like you and me, and girls, in the creative field. And so check that out if you haven't done so already. The link is in the summary. But today I'm going to be talking about Kickstarters. Why a Kickstarter? Because I'm actually right now sending out all of the rewards to my backers for my Kickstarter. So thank you all you backers out there. I'm so excited, and I'm finally getting the books into your hands on time like I promised. And so I thought it would be a great opportunity to share some best practices, some tips, and share some advice on how to prep for a Kickstarter, how to run a Kickstarter, and and then some really cool things that you can do for your supporters and your readers of your book. And you're probably asking yourself, "Yo, Sam, what are you talking about? What Kickstarter?" Well, there's Nailing in My Toilet. Book number 4 was the Kickstarter that ended, which is what I'm actually shipping out now. This is a variant cover. It's called Gotcha, and it's about Duty. He's an alien that I created, and he comes from Uranus, and he comes to Earth, and he crash lands, and gets into all sorts of crazy stuff. So, and as we talk, the landing page for the graphic novel volume 1, which is going to have books number 1 through 5 plus more special content in it. It's 140 pages. We launch April 4th, so I'd love for you to sign up if you haven't done so already. The link is in the summary. Check it out. I want you to be there. This is hilarious. It's fun for the whole family to enjoy, and I hope that you get yourself a copy. But with that said, let's talk about, before I go into the packing of the Kickstarter, let's talk about some of the things I learned for creating a Kickstarter. So first and foremost, I've done 4 for This Nailing in My Toilet, 3 for a book called Forbidden, and 3 for a series called Catch the Crazy. So that's 10. I've done 10 campaigns so far. It's a lot of campaigns, and I've learned quite a bit over the years of doing it. So it's been about a couple of years doing Kickstarters. And one of the things that I learned is simplicity is best. Simplicity is best. And you probably ask yourself, what do you mean, Sam? Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things, and don't blow your budget on all of these add-ons, right? And I think that's what happens. I've become overzealous and overly ambitious in trying to appeal to as many people as possible by adding all these extra stuff. And then what I found is my first few campaigns, I was never breaking even. I was in the red, even after it was funded, because I bit off more than I can chew. And so what I learned was budget wisely. So, prices of printing have gone up, prices for shipping have gone up, and supplies, right? So every book has to be packaged and shipped, right? The boxes cost, the bags and board. If you're gonna bag and board, I bag and board all my books that I send to all of my backers, because that's just an essential thing to protect their investment. So they all come boxed, they all come with bags and boards. And then there's shipping labels. So you have to buy yourself a bulk of shipping labels. You got to buy yourself ink for your printer. You have to these are the things that you need to make sure you have, right? And I'm going to list it right here, right? So ink, printer ink, because you got to print your own labels. Shipping labels. You got to make sure you have a bulk. They sell them in bulk on Amazon.com. So shipping labels. You need your box, right? Your Gemini mailer boxes. Those of you who are doing Kickstarters and sending comic books in an envelope that's not protected, that's not good. That's not good at all. I backed 2 campaigns where I got my books in an envelope, and the books were damaged and bent, and I won't ever back those campaigns again. So don't do that. Make sure you put it in a box. The bags and boards cost, so make sure you have your bags and boards. You have to get tape, packing tape. You have to get a tape gun. Make sure you have that as well. You need bubble wrap just in case, because sometimes you might have things that on your Kickstarter that require you to protect it even more, have extra level of protection. So those are the things that you're going to need markers, right? If you're going to sign your books, you need markers. And you need 8.5 by 11 printer paper because what I normally do is I print out a list of all my backers and I do a check off, and I categorize them by reward tier. So I know if I have 20 people who just got the single copy, I start with the first 20 that do a single copy. Then I move on to the ones who got the copy plus extra, and I put them in another bucket, and so on and so on and so on. Create an account. I use Pirate Ship to ship my stuff. I have a USPS account, and I have a Pirate Ship account, and I have a FedEx account. All depends on what I'm using, but I use Pirate Ship, and you have to account for shipping costs. So on average, now it's about $375 or $375 and up, based on the weight and dimensions of what you're shipping. So I know that I had as high as $12 for shipping because a couple of people got the 6-inch duty figure. So I had to make sure that it was boxed on top of everything else. So those are supplies you're going to need and to things to keep in mind. So without further ado, let's go on to packing because I got a lot of stuff to do, and hopefully you stick around and you watch my process, and we'll talk a little more and I'll share some extra tips with you. But if you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, share with a friend, and let's get this going. Actually the Kickstarter, and what I want to do is I want to create a QR code. So I'm gonna look for a QR code generator and paste the link from my Kickstarter into the generator. And what that's going to allow me to do is just create a QR code that I'm able to create a mailer with, really a label. I want to create a label. So what I like about the QR code, I can change the colors. It lets you do for free. You can do a limited scope of things. So I'm just want to change the color. I don't want to do anything special. So I'm changing the color. Then I download it. But what I'm doing is there's several different generators, and one has a feature that allows you to have a sign that says sign up, or sign up. And the previous one I was just on didn't allow me to download without actually using my email. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of like all of these places sending spam. I mean, I get thousands. It's hard to keep up. And even when you put unsubscribe, they never listen. So then I'm using my application, which is Affinity Photo, and it's the poor man's version of Photoshop. So I'm going to use Affinity Photo and to create a shipping label. And that's what I'm doing here. It's I'm looking for the the logo, the QR code. That's what I'm looking for. Yes. So I saved it, and now I want to add it into my file, so I can create the label. This is just I'm creating a JPEG. So the JPEG is going to allow me to export it and add it into a Word document that I will use to create the label afterwards. So right now it's just about formatting it, and you're saying, why are you doing this? This QR code is for the new launch page. So when I ship out the rewards for book 4, this QR code, when they get it, I'm going to stick this onto the backend board. So when my backers get this in the mail, they can scan that QR code and sign up for the graphic novel. And so this is what I'm doing here. I'm just adding all the features, and it's just going to say 100-page graphic novel, April 4th, scan me. And basically it's providing that other layer of information so that the backers know. Because I can tell you right now, not everybody reads the emails when they get them, and lots of times they go into a spam folder. I know because I've backed so many Kickstarters that I get tons of Kickstarter emails. So this is what it looks like. I use a Word document. I bought a pack of labels that
there's a specific code that you can get from Avery. So here's the Avery templates, and the template was 5163, and I downloaded that template and I used that to create my labels. And then I just print it and ship it. All right, so now that I have my labels, I basically spread everything out at the dining room table. This helps me be able to just basically have everything spread out. I have a spreadsheet that I print out from Kickstarter. So Kickstarter, what it does, it allows you to print out your backup report, and it has it by name, has the email, has the address, has the reward tier, has the add-ons. So I'm able to use Excel to itemize everything and break it up into categories. And I basically put my listings by reward. So if a reward tier was just a single book and there was 15, 20 people, I separate those and I start those first. But as you can see on the table, I have my marker and my Sharpie, and I sign every copy. And I think it's important. One of the things, if you notice what I'm doing, I'm ripping off that extra layer of protection on the books. That confused me and I got a little upset because I received it from the printer and I've never received my books this way before. And I was like, what's going on? Am I supposed to rip everything off? Is it going to damage the book? What's going on? You never shipped anything to me like this before. You know, I've been using you for 2 years. I was having a conniption. And they said, no, there was just an extra layer of protection and it comes off without doing any damage to the books at all. They just did it for protection. And so once I got through that and the stress it caused me, I proceeded to start working on, because I thought I was going to have to be late with this again. I was like, if this damages the books, they're going to have to go and reship me another set. How long is that going to take? And all that stuff. But anyway, so I think it's very key to always make sure that you organize yourself so that way, whatever works for you. Like what I do first is I will sign the books first, right? Before I bag and board them. So, and that's what I'm doing here. Just making sure that everything is ready to go. And as you can see, I have my prints laid out one way. I have my sticker sheets. I have my pins. And then what I start doing is I start bagging everything. And then this allows me to, once everything's bagged, once everything is boarded, then I can go and start sorting all of the books. But one thing to note about Kickstarter is if you're going to launch a Kickstarter, Kickstarter has a lot of tutorials and good to know, things to know and things to avoid when you're launching your Kickstarter. And I think the best thing is simple, right? I think for everything, Kickstarter has a format that you need to follow. It's a playbook. But the biggest thing is clear communication to the potential investor. I call them investors, not just readers of my book, because they're investing in my passion. And so what Kickstarter wants is that when you create your thumbnails and you write your synopsis and your summaries, that is very clear. And also when you write your rewards, it's very clear on what the person or persons are going to get when they invest in your Kickstarter. So, but also try to keep it simple. Don't overuse crazy jargon and all that other stuff because you don't want to turn people away. But a few mistakes that I've noticed on Kickstarters is that people don't use enough graphics. They'll just have their thumbnail and some text and maybe the cover of the book, and that's about it. I know if I see that, I'm going to turn away. I'm not even going to try and entertain the idea of investing in something that I can't see what it is. So make sure you have at least minimum 4 sample pages of the art, the cover art, and any other art that you're going to use. Promotion, if you have variant covers, make sure all those are listed. If you have prints, make sure the art is showing and people know exactly what it is. But if you have character designs, make sure you have that. Kickstarter also wants to know who worked on it, so make sure that you list the people that were involved in the product, and so that way they get their recognition, and Kickstarter knows exactly all the parties that are involved. Your add-ons, make sure they're clearly listed. Try to use graphics for your add-ons. There's some really cool Kickstarters out there that they use some amazing layouts and designs to really showcase their work. So I would go and check out some of those and do some research. Just look at some of the pages. Look at the pages that are very successful. Especially the newbies, like the first time Kickstarters, and they're very successful, and they get campaign we love, and they reach their funding. And what was it about that book? Look at the format, look at what they're doing. Study from the guys and girls that are really doing it right, because knowledge is power. The more you can absorb and the more that you can learn, the better off you'll be in the long run. Another thing I want you should avoid is, having a launch page for only up for a week and then launching. You want to give people time to get to know what you have out there. So I have a launch page usually about 2 months. It gives me time to promote it. It gives me time to create awareness, to get the buzz going, and let people do their research. So let's say you have a landing page, you want to promote it, and people go and check it out. They go, what is this about? Well, who is this guy? How many Kickstarters has he done? They're going to click on my name. They're going to see how many Kickstarters. They're going to say, oh, well, he has a website. Let me go check out the website, right? So people who don't know you, give them time to process whether or not they want to invest in your book. And you want to build that audience, right? So if you give yourself 2 months, you can build that sign up listing. Use your email campaigns to promote and get the word out to people. There's just so many things that you can do to really, really, really capitalize and limit the possibility of having a Kickstarter that fails. Right? You want to prevent that from happening, and the way to do that is make sure you launch on time. Make sure you have a compelling graphic. Kickstarter doesn't like a lot of font usage on your graphics, so that's one thing that you want to keep in mind. And promote, And again, if you watched any of my other videos, join communities, artist communities, whether it's on DeviantArt, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter, whatever, join chats, ask other people who had successful campaigns for advice. Maybe have somebody share your campaign before you launch it, and get feedback. Kickstarter allows you to have a preview that you can send to people to get their feedback on what they think. The more that you can do, the more quality control you can do, the more R&D you can do, the better off you'll be when you're trying to really have a successful campaign. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going to start boxing my Kickstarters. So again, I look at the spreadsheet. There's the label. What I do is I'll adhere it to the back of the so if they want to read the book, they have to tear that label, and that label has the QR code they can scan to sign up for the next campaign. So one of the things I also did, so remember I talked about doing some really cool stuff for your backers. Well, what I did was I invested my own money to have the pin manufactured. And the duty pin, basically was free to anybody who backed my previous Kickstarters and came back and backed this one for physical level. And so they got that enamel pin for free. And everybody who backed this campaign also, not just if you backed any of the others, if you were new and if you were existing, everybody got a free 8x8 print. So I think sometimes you don't have to do this. I did it because I just want to show my appreciation for the people who are investing in my product. And so remember what I talked about, the supplies, having the tape gun to be able to bag and board. And what I normally do is when I box it, I put the name of the person that's on that box. So when I create the labels, I know where the label goes. And then I cross-reference off the spreadsheet that I have there on the table, and there go the labels that you saw me print out, and then I place it on. It's a great look. It's cost-effective way to market your stuff and create another reminder for people because they're so busy. And there's that print that I told you that everybody gets for free, and that was just my way of saying thank you. So whatever you can do from time to time to try to just reward those who appreciate your work. Sometimes you don't have, again, it's an option. I do it from time to time because, I got that from my mom, right? It's like, make sure the people who support you know how much you appreciate them. And sometimes it's just by doing the little things, right? They make a big difference. But again, I tape these bad boys really well, and so make sure that it's not tampered with. I do everything I can to try to make sure. And as you can see that I have the boxes in bulk. So all my supplies are bought in bulk. So that's what you want to make sure. So again, just sign the boxes, have your spreadsheet, have your supplies. Everything is within arm's reach. I don't have to walk. My walking has been limited. I am right there at the table, just working, having fun, and sending things to my backers. And you can see that. So that bubble wrap that you see there is recycled. Meaning what happens is sometimes I'll get product in the mail that has tons of bubble wrap, and I'll save it. I won't throw it away because I will use it. It helps save money. So anytime you get a box that's an odd shape that you might need for maybe graphic novels or an action figure, whatever, save it. You get bubble wrap, save it. And I have a storage in my garage with just bubble wrap that came from packaging, whether it's through Amazon or whatever, and I just save it because I used to buy these really big giant rolls of bubble wrap, and that after a while it costs quite a bit and it takes its toll financially, right? So now it's a little lunch break. So I have some fish and some fries and some Texas toast, and you can't go wrong with fish, fries, and Texas toast. And I know I'm using my fingers, but it's just so good. There's no reason for me to use a fork. Yeah, taking a break because this is an all-day thing. So packing up all this stuff took me 7 hours from start to finish. Printing the labels, printing the spreadsheet, getting the supplies together, bagging and boarding, boxing everything, taping everything. So, of course, I have to eat while I'm working, and I surf the web and I look at social media like everybody else does because we're all addicted to it. I can't help it. But again, I love fish and I love French fries. I'm a big, I love French fries. But so now these are custom boxes that I ordered because I have bulk orders from my Kickstarter, and two of the backers got this figure, the Soldier Duty figure. So Duty has its own box, but I make sure that I double, triple protect it, so it goes into protective film and then into a bag and then into a box that goes into another box, right? So that box is going into another box. I was going to flatten the box, but then I was like, no, because I didn't know if it was going to fit, but then the box did not fit in when I flattened it, so I had to reconstruct the box and then put the figure back in and then close it up, and then I'm basically going to put that in. So that box is going to go in with all of the other comic books that this backer purchased. So these boxes I had to order specifically so it could support that box and the comic books. So it was a specific dimension, specific size for this. So again, I'm just confirming what this person ordered on top of the figure. So I just wanted to make sure that I got everything correct So the good thing, what I'm looking at is the Kickstarter app and reminding myself of the tier. So this backer got a lot of prints, and got the comic book plus the figure, and the homage cover, the variant cover. And so again, the biggest thing is making sure that when you are handling somebody's order, that you handle it with care. And again, I forgot to put the label, so I'm putting a label on. That label goes there. There goes the sticker sheets, and there is a few buttons. These are extra buttons I'm throwing in there because I really value this specific backer. And so is my way of just saying thank you. So I put in a couple of sticker sheets, even though the person ordered one, and I put in a couple of extra buttons. And again, it's just showing appreciation. Anytime you can do that, and you see that paper that I'm pulling, that's recycled. So that's basically, that was paper that came on another box, and that's bubble wrap that came on another box from an order that I that I had, and I used it for this. So again, anytime you can save money by recycling stuff, it'll go a long way. And again, you see, I'm just making sure that I handle it with care, and so that way, when it leaves me, I knew that I did everything I needed to do to protect it. And now I'm just going to secure the box, and then I'm going to tape this bad boy like it's never been taped before, right? So I want to secure it, making sure that it's, again, tamper proof. And this specific box, I did priority with insurance because of the value of the action figure, actually the resin figure, and everything in it. So it cost me a little more than what I charged the person for shipping. But it's all worth it in the end, in my eyes. And so then one of the backers ordered a ink sketch card. So this is just me, an ink sketch of Duty as the Mandalorian. And so again, it wasn't called for color. I didn't, on this campaign, I didn't promote the fact that I was going to color anything. I promoted the fact that you get a black and white commission sketch. And this is the thing I love to do the most. And I love when people order the commission stuff because I have fun with it. In fact, I can't wait because in a few weeks I'll be in Puerto Rico for the Puerto Rico Comic Con, and that's going to be so much fun. But again, this piece was done for one of my backers, and I just want to make sure that I get it to them on time. Yeah, so once I'm done with this piece here, I will basically put it in its own sleeve and have it ready for the backer. And again, this is just an overview of all the prints that were available in this campaign, the sticker sheet, the buttons, the labels that I created, the books, the spreadsheet, and everything's ready to go.
All right, guys, so that was it. That's basically what I do for my Kickstarters. I didn't do the section with the shipping, pirate ship, because it's all of my backers' confidential information, it's their personal address and everything, so I didn't want to share that on the screen. But use pirate ship or USPS, whichever one you feel most comfortable with, but create an account and have that ready for you. And what I normally do is I have an account, a credit card, my business card that's attached to the account, so I don't have to always add my credit card every time I go and add more or start shipping anything. But what pirate ship allows you to do, and I didn't cover that a minute ago, but what it allows you to do is to batch upload. And batching means, let's say you have 10 boxes that all have just a single comic. So they weigh a certain amount, right? They weigh, say, 8 ounces, 8.5 ounces. So you have 12 boxes that you're shipping that are 8.5 ounces, so you can batch them onto one spreadsheet. And Pirate Ship gives you a template so you can download and create a spreadsheet in Excel. And all you have to do is put the person's, and it has like 5 columns. So it's name, address, apartment, city, state, zip code, right? And it's batched and it just uploads and it creates it all for you, and it gives you a price based on the dimensions that you put in, the weight, and all that other stuff. The biggest thing is, and I'm going to say that again, if you have backers that are loyal to you, do something extra. You don't have to do it every time, but sometimes do something extra and throw a little maybe a sketch card or another button or some stickers, whatever. But always try to do something a little extra that they won't expect, but it's just your way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Consistency is key. So make sure that you stay consistent with it. Make sure your books are finished before you start a Kickstarter. Make sure everything is ready to go, because the last thing you want to do is make anybody wait. It's not fair to them, especially if you put a due date. If you put a due date a year from now and they still back you, at least they know they're not going to get it for a year. But if you say the due date's in 2 months, then make sure that they're not waiting beyond that. There are things you probably can't control. I know that I ran into a couple of roadblocks, and I was a little afraid that I was going to be late. But because I jumped in and dealt with it and made the calls I needed to make and added the pressure I needed to add, I was able to get everything so I can ship it out on time. And I never want to launch a campaign without making sure that my backers have the books for the campaign before that one. So it's always important to make sure that you take care of the people that invest in you. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any more questions, put it in the comments below and let me know and I'll answer them. And if you like this episode, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you for coming along for the ride. And if you haven't done so already, please sign up for book number 5 and the graphic novel of There's Anything in My Toilet. But I can't go without talking about one of my favorite in my the art books, and this is the art of Frank Frazetta, the icon. And if you don't know who Frank Frazetta is, he's an Italian painter who's done everything from Death Dealer to Conan to King Kong. He's done so many different Tarzan. I mean, his art is fantastic. I got to go to the Frazetta Museum with a few buddies of mine. I met his wife. We just missed him because he was off to the dentist. We saw him get into the car, and it was unfortunate. Never got to meet him. But fantastic illustrator, fantastic painter. Lots to learn from his work if you haven't picked this up. But this is one that I recommend as well. With that said, remember, your dreams only become a reality if you believe in it. Forget about what the world believes. It's about what you believe in. And if you believe in it and you put in the work, you will achieve it. I promise you that. You guys have a great day. See you next time. Peace.